Moon gang. Hello. We are back in business, back in the business, back at it again, Daniel. Folks, in the brief moment that we were not together, AMC looks like it's gearing up. This is what we were calling out earlier. A rip in the morning, consolidation in the afternoon, and potentially a huge rip into close. Let's see if it can build up momentum, namely breaking above 41 and then hopefully breaking above 42. Don't believe me? I mean, it's fact checked. It's time stamped. It's in the earlier stream. You can see it. Woohoo. It's there. It's there. Well done on Fox. Hey, I appreciate that. It's always fun going on talking with Charles Payne. All right. Where are we at? So AMC, for my audio listeners, if you're just tuning in right now, it is breaking above the key level at 40. Very, very important level. We are at 40.22 right now. We're looking for the breakout above 40.50 and then pretty much 42. Like my eyes are on the prize up here. GME looking good, 184. GME's up 2% on the day. AMC's up 8.6% on the day. We're definitely winning the day. IWM bending back around. Obviously, AMC doesn't seem to really care too much about what's going on with IWM. SPY looking strong. So is GME. Like things are looking good right now. Just here, let me mark this out. We kind of care about 185 on GME. Right about there. All right, someone just said new Ortex numbers reported. Let's check that out. Let me just get this for you. Sweet. We are ready for the afternoon. There is one thing I want to go over very quick, an article that relates to Citadel Connect, and I think all of that good stuff. You're going to learn something, but let me quickly go over this. All right. So the new numbers, so remember, hang on. We can do this, show advance. I just want to show you a better way to interpret it. So the numbers were released today, but remember, they were valid on July 15th. So we're already 11 days old. Released today, valid as of July 15th. But the way to use this right here, okay, so this happens kind of every time. Estimated short interest. Estimated. How are they estimating it? They're basically through a fancy schmancy mathematical formula. They know the shares on loan from 85% of legal, legitimate transactional volume. 85% of legal, legitimate transactional volume. They take this number and through that fancy formula, they apply a certain percentage to it, and then that's how they come up. So obviously this is a certain percentage of the current shares on loan. It's kind of always a dynamic scenario of how many shares on loan, and this is why it's estimated, are actually short. Because remember, you don't have to report short numbers in real time. Individuals don't even have to in general. Like they give that information over to FINRA, SEC, and then that's what we get, and we're always running late. But anyway, these are the legal, legitimate reporting. If anything, I've always said this with Ortex, and people are still like oddly weird about it. It's a conservative floor value. Why do I use this when I know it is not 100% perfect? Well, it's because it's better than nothing. Like if we're just using nothing, what are you doing? Just guessing? Like that's not the stock market. You don't just guess and say like, oh, I have a gut feeling that there's this many. That's just not trading. That is not the stock market. It is extremely important to have some sort of data source, but also it's important to understand the pitfalls of that data source. Where could it be manipulated? What are its downfalls? So I'm just trying to get everyone to understand this is 85% of legal, legitimate transactional volume. So anyway, this is how it works. And to know, we see those weird days where every couple weeks Ortex has to jump up or jump down, and it's because of over or underestimation. For example, back on May 28th, the amount of reported shorts was 102 million, but Ortex at that moment in time on that day was estimating 85 million, as in it underreported by more than 15%. They did a similar thing on June 15th. Actual shorts were 85%. And then they were estimating 67 million. Once again, underreporting. Fast forward to June 30th, the actual shorts were 75 million and Ortex was overestimating 93 million. So whenever you have an overestimation, they have to calibrate it down. And when you have an underestimation, they have to calibrate it up. So this time around, not much calibration. They were off by, what is this, 800,000 shares, not bad at all. 80.5 million was their estimation, and the estimated what was actually reported was 79.75. So pretty spot on. Their estimation for specifically July 15th, and the report was like almost dead on. So we're not going to see a big change tomorrow due to calibrating up or calibrating down, because as of this one released today for July 15th, pretty spot on for what they were doing, which tells me in terms of just this 85% of transactional volume of legal legitimate stuff. I say that, I've said that now 8 times because I need to drill it into some people's head of like what this means. Am I saying that this is the short interest when you account for everything, all the legal legitimate stuff and the illegal stuff? Absolutely not. Clearly, I am not saying that. But I'm saying for this little picture, like this little sliver of the overall picture, this is pretty spot on right now. 14.64% for this portion of the picture. So that's for AMC. For GME, we could do a similar thing. Let's get show advanced and let's see how good their estimation was this time. Same thing. So they were overestimating a little bit, 8.8 million versus 8 million. So they're off about by 10%. So here's what's going to happen. This estimation tomorrow, it's going to drop because they're going to calibrate back down because they're always trying to get as close to the reported thing as possible. So don't be surprised tomorrow with short interest. It's them calibrating it. It's actually not a change in the actual shorts. It's them recalibrating their model. And this time around, in reference to GME, they will calibrate this number downward to try to get a little bit closer to what was going on in terms of the data that they received. So that's AMC, that's GME. On your Ortex numbers very quickly, AMC messing around at this important breakout at 40, GME coming up to 185, another important breakout. SPY looking strong, IWM is swinging back. The one thing someone just said, how is the crypto I'm holding? Crypto. So I'm in crypto for the long haul. I'm not actively trading it or anything like that. I have my crypto on Coinbase, BlockFi, Voyager. All those links are in the description of the video. But for now, let's bring up how crypto is actually doing. I've heard crazy things about it lately. Actually, I was looking at it earlier today, and I know that it's doing pretty well. All right, so let's do a little bit of Bitcoin. Let's do a little bit of Ethereum. Let's do a little bit of Doge, and let's do a little bit of Cardano. Overall, strong. Wow. Bitcoin making a rally up to 40,000, tapped 40,000. I believe the main thing going on here, please correct me if I'm wrong, some assumptions that Amazon is going to make an announcement that they're going to be accepting it. I believe that's kind of what's going on in the driving force. Please correct me if I'm wrong on that. I just heard some of those murmurs of why people are kind of pouring back into crypto, because obviously a company like Amazon accepting it would just give it that much more credibility. The world's largest e-commerce website and just a huge company across the board, not just e-commerce, but even their cloud computing. Doge, 22 cents. I'm sure people who have been in Doge are happy to see that it's back up above 20 cents. Cardano above $1.30. Would love to see it make it run all the way up to $1.50. And then Ethereum, I would love to see this at 2.5 and then 3,000. Right now at 2,380. But across the board, crypto is looking strong. So if you've been hodling that, congratulations. GME above 40 or above 185 or battling at 185, and then AMC above 40. Looks like we are potentially setting up for an interesting power hour. Fingers crossed. Do they cover a substantial amount of shares when we ran up 25% last week? 25% last week. What day are you referring to? So we got that information 2 days later, and it was not substantial. We are not seeing a huge amount of covering. Yeah, some of that covering could be today, that we're seeing the report of it today, at least, but still small, 940,000. We haven't even breached 1 million. So there is a net return on AMC today. It's just not that big when you're talking about 95.5 million shares out on loan. Please don't go away. TMI is not nearly as interesting as Matt Kohrs. I was lulled to sleep by the elevator music. Hey, I'm a fan of TMI. We all have different styles. To each his own. He's a buddy of mine. Could you explain the order book? The order book. Are you looking at a specific one that I could use as details, or what part of it? Sinner San. Do you follow short exempts? We were actually just talking about that in the Discord today. Shout out to True Demon if you're listening right now. I think you're actually on a flight. But he's done some extensive research into short exempts. For those of you who don't know, short exempts are basically market makers are allowed to short without locating shares. And they run on a very odd T6 cycle of like when it actually settles for shares that they don't have to locate to short. And True Demon, a member of the Moon Gang Discord, has been noticing a pattern of basically a price spike that is associated with any abnormal like T6 settlement cycle. If you want to know a little bit more about it, I'm being told, and I'm myself planning on watching it today, some interesting interview with Randall Cornett, who spoke about what is going on with that type of short exempt and the settlement cycle and how that's all intertwined. Welcome back from the void to the tinfoil hat club. Get yourself set up on Rumble ASAP. Freedom is the most important thing in this country. Glad to see you're back, brother. What's going on, Sean? Juan, thank you for that super chat. Oh, so this is the other thing I wanted to talk about. I'm getting quite a few interesting questions about Citadel Connect. Let me go through this quickly, and then we can watch the remainder of Power Hour together. But I do think this is important, and I want the community to hear it before I hop into it. If you guys could just help me out a little bit with the algorithm, destroy that like button, gets more people in here to know that we're back live. I know I have a new schedule, and it's confusing to people. So if you haven't already, it's completely free. It helps me out. And also a quick reminder, I'll let you know when it's actually up, but there is a new channel that's going to serve as a backup. I'm also on Twitch, but just so you know, all right, I'll let you know. But Matt Kohrs clips, it is pinned to the top of chat. Later today, I'll clip the interview with Charles Payne if you haven't seen it. It's a relatively short interview just talking about YouTube, but that will be posted to that channel there. Hard to find channel. It's pinned to the top of chat. And if you go onto my official YouTube page, like if you open that up, if you go to the channels, like it should be the other one in my channel. If you see it, like when you go to mine, click on channels, like kind of in the middle top right, and it should be right there. But anyway, really quick, let's run through Citadel Connect. If you've been paying attention to kind of the community, you might not know exactly what's going on with this, but there's a good chance you've heard it. This is by Tim Fries. He wrote this last week on Thursday. It's on the Tokenist. I'll make sure to place this somewhere so you can read it, or you could just quickly search it. But anyway, it's talking about dark pools. There are certainly some benefits here in terms of increased liquidity, but there's other side of the coin as well. So once again, dark pools, not all good, not all bad. That's the argument that Fries is taking. And I actually thought this was a pretty balanced argument, worthwhile to read. But overall, he's talking about what's going on with naked shorting and the squeeze of meme stocks. At this point, hedge funds have collectively lost $12 billion so far. And right here, enter Citadel Connect, a dark pool operated by Citadel Securities. But as you're about to find out a little bit in this article, it looks like a dark pool, it acts like a dark pool, but Citadel Securities is not calling it a dark pool, which leads to some interesting aspects. Let's talk a little bit about payment for order flow. It's a highly controversial practice because it tends to cause conflict of interest, which is why it is illegal in many Western nations, the UK, Canada, and Australia. According to Gary Gensler, the SEC chairman, payment for order flow raises a number of important questions. Do broker-dealers have inherent conflicts of interest? If so, are customers getting best execution in context of that conflict? Are broker-dealers incentivized to encourage customers to trade more frequently than it is in those customers' best interests? We've talked a lot about payment for order flow. If you're new to this particular argument, just so you know, within the next couple days, I'm going to have a full-fledged discussion with Dave Lauer, who is legitimately a payment for order flow expert, a HFT expert. So be on the lookout for that interview, and I'm going to ask these questions. What is the deal with payment for order flow? What is it? Obviously, so the new apes understand what we're discussing. And then right here, I am clearly there is potential of like conflicts of interest. That is exactly why it's banned in countries such as the UK, Canada, and Australia. There's some governing bodies out there who are like, no way, Jose, we don't want this. But one of the questions for me personally, do I like payment for order flow? Absolutely not. I wish we got rid of it. I do not think it's good. I think there's other ways in our current system to have free trading and not have payment for order flow. But that doesn't mean we agree on why we dislike payment for order flow. For me, the main reason I dislike payment for order flow is because it prompts an environment in which conflicts for interest are, I don't know, they're too tempting, let's put it that way. And on top of that, it also naturally widens the bid-ask spread across the entire market at large, which causes worse executions, worse fills, and it costs people money. So right there, I know a lot of people are trying to connect payment for order flow to somehow stymieing a squeeze. Mechanically, I don't understand how that would be possible. I'm going to ask Dave Lauer that. In all fairness, I do not know his answer. I'm telling you why I dislike payment for order flow. I don't like it. I want to get rid of it. But I'm not just going to hop on board and say that it is somehow ruining our squeeze when I don't understand. Like, if I said that, I wouldn't know the explanation of why. I really, really wouldn't. So right there, that's an example of exactly what I'll be asking Dave Lauer is, in your understanding, whether an assumption or not, is it theoretically possible for payment for order flow to stymie a short squeeze? That'll be one of the main questions. All right. Internalization means that an order is not routed to the market maker, but the broker itself fills the order for its inventory of shares. All right. That's kind of what's going on with these wholesalers. First, as evidence in January, nearly half of the trading interest in the equity market either is in a dark pool or is internalized by wholesalers. So that's one of the biggest issues we're seeing right now with the rise of wholesale brokers, payment for order flow, is a majority of trades are not being executed on lit markets. And if they're not being executed on lit markets, that means that they're off market. And if they're off market, by definition, those are less regulated. So that means a majority of our trades are being executed in a less regulated environment. So to me, just like on the surface level, how could that be good? How could it be good that a majority of our trades are being executed in a less regulated environment? What is a dark pool and how can it be abused? The obvious purpose of this feature is to stabilize the market so that when large orders from institutionalized investors are placed, other market players are not alerted. Otherwise, with other order size in the open on the lit market, other participants could be able to trigger a downward price shift. So this just relates to kind of the inherent nature of dark pools. What they're meant to do is basically not cause a weird market reaction when someone sees a whale order. That's what's supposed to be for dark pools. It's more competitive for institutional investors to really do what they need to without disrupting the market. But what we're seeing now is actually on average, there's an immense amount of trades, but there's smaller lot sizes. So people are starting to point out like, hang on, we get what dark pools are supposed to be for, but why is it that they're being utilized in a majority in a different manner? By preventing from happening, dark pools increase liquidity and market efficiency. Nonetheless, the same way dark pools eliminate transparency by design, they can also obscure conflicts of interest. One of the biggest issues. So for me, the way dark pools are pitched, I get it. I get that they're more competitive. It helps stabilize the market. It increases liquidity and market efficiency. I'm a fan of that. I'm not a fan of a way that you're creating an environment that allows for you to obscure conflicts of interest. So to my recent studying over the weekend, I kind of like this concept of other countries where they still have dark pools because you still want the stabilization of markets for large orders, liquidity, market efficiency, but they have some more regulations in place to help with the conflicts of interest. So I think that's very, very important to note. And if you check this out, here are some conflicts of interest issues. The most common abuse in dark pools is the so-called front running. With the knowledge that a trader is about to execute a trade, another trader can trade the stock, sell or buy first, and then sell it to satisfy the original request at a profit. We've talked about front running ad nauseum. That's one of the classic aspects of high frequency trading. For them, it's a riskless trade, and they want to take those all day long because it's pure profit. Numerous reliable reports suggest Citadel Connect is indeed a dark pool. Interestingly enough, however, Citadel Connect is not registered as an ATS, alternative trading system, aka a dark pool. Nor does it report its trading volume to FINRA, which is overseen by the SEC. So someone was bringing this up earlier on the stream that they're not reporting volume. Obviously, it's right here. It's in front of us. I agree with it. This is something I specifically want to ask Mr. Lauer of how they can get away with not reporting to FINRA. Does that mean that they're not reporting volume at all? Does that mean that they're reporting it to a different entity? There's a lot of questions I have about this. So instead of us making assumptions, let's just wait and then we could ask these questions. But overall, if you just want a quick breakdown of what is Citadel Connect, it's everything that is a dark pool without being officially registered as a dark pool. So once again, check this out. It's a very good article. It's well written. The Tokenist, In-Depth, Citadel Connect, and Dark Pools Uncovered by Tim Fries. It was written on July 23rd. So feel free just to quickly Google search that if you want to check it out. But it does bring up some interesting aspects. All right, AMC just coasting at 40. GME could not get that breakout of 185. Let's see if it can gear up for a power hour move. We're about 8 minutes into power hour. Power hour. Welcome back from the void. Shout out Sean. Elon shouted out Daddy Doge twice. Interesting. Hey brother, I was wondering if you could make a standalone video for options from the purchase to win, how to cash out experiment. Appreciate you. Yeah, so just so you know, I could definitely make that. And I have the start of an options playlist. It's on my channel. It's just called Trading Options. Check out that playlist. And it's good. I mean, it's free. It's just like an intro guide to what is options trading. Thoughts on memes? They're the only ones 100xing right now. Elon is pumping Daddy Doge coin, not Doge, and it's going parabolic. Check Daddy Doge Twitter and charts. Next Doge is here, I believe. My suggestion with that is do not chase. If you see something running, congratulate the people in it, but that doesn't mean it's your opportunity. You don't want to be the person who's late to the party. I know in real life, IRL, it's really cool to be that guy that gets off his motorcycle, you're in that leather jacket, and you walk into the party and it's already halfway over and everyone's like, oh man, this guy's so cool. I wonder what he was doing that he could not come here on time even though he RSVP'd, and we were very, very clear on the Facebook invite that the party's from X to Y. Why would he be so late? Isn't he better at time management? He's so cool. I get that being late in real life is cool, but in the stock market, it's the opposite of cool. It is very much the opposite of cool. You want to be in before the move. You don't want to be the bag holder. You don't want to be the person who's late to the party. Trust me, if you see something running, that is not your opportunity to get in. Once in a while, you'll make some money, but what if you end up ticking it, and all it does from that point is continue to fall. There's really no inherent risk management in that type of trading system. If you can figure out how to make that type of trading work for you, seriously, congratulations. But anecdotally, from my own experience, chasing a running stock time and time again has been like a net losing methodology for me. So glad we got your back. Big heart, Matt. Lords Brewing Co. Shout out, shout out, shout out. Shout out, shout out, shout out. All right, hang on. Where's my Discord at? Sweet, thanks. I got to rewind a bit. Still live. He's on about 30 minutes in. Actually, 14 minutes from the end. Found it. Let's go. Shout out, Moonman. Can you make the word of the day articulate? Means to put some fancy, good sounding words together. Love the title of the stream. Shout out Phoenix Performance. Shout out True Demon. Are we lagging? He said power hour and it was 8 minutes ago. I mean, no, that's right. I'm seeing 3:11 right now. Not that that really helps with the fact that like the stream's only 10 seconds behind. But let's see if we can get some movement. Even if we don't, even when we close here, that's an 8% gain day on AMC, a 2% gain on GME. That's a win. That's a win. Matty Ice, glad you are back, brother. Learning options from you changed my life. You have our back, so we got yours. Oh, brother. What's going on, Robert? I hope this comes out right, but I'm very proud of you in this community. This is odd for me, having always been on the other side of the camera before, but while isolated working through the night in Byron Bay, in many ways, you were my only companion. Well, that's very nice. Hey, I hope whatever you were working on, I hope I gave you a little bit of, I don't know, mental reprieve when you needed that break. Shout out, Burns. To celebrate your small win, is YouTube messing with me? No way. Uh-oh. Did they do it to me? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Am I back? Folks, I don't know if I'm frozen or not. I haven't gotten an email yet. Uh-oh. Did I get an email from YouTube? I don't think I did. All right. I'm live still. I'm live. If you're having an issue, just do a quick refresh. Control R. Control R. How do you feel about Benzinga Pro? So I have Benzinga Pro, and if you want a free trial of it, it's in the description of this video. And also, if you want to buy it, just know that there is a code right now, July 50, the number 50. July 50 will give you 50% off literally whatever you get, but there's also on top of that a free trial in the description of the video. So for me, this has been Zynga Pro, but just so you know, they do have other services. For me, I like the newsfeed. I like to see what's going on. AMC, GME is real time. You can get signals, options, activity. Like there's a lot of things going on here. You can see the unusual options. I mean, right here, I could see the biggest trades of the day. The biggest trade right here, AMC call for more weird stuff. January 21st, $10 strike. Really, like over the past 2 weeks, we're seeing strange action going on in terms of, hang on, I don't know if I want a trade type. Hang on. Do I want trade type? We don't need that. I want more space for all of you. All right, maybe let's try that. How does this look? I also don't need volume OI. Okay. So this is another thing you have available to you on Benzinga Pro. You could see, and like I have it filtered on AMC and GME. Obviously, you could filter it to whatever stocks you're currently paying attention to. Give it a try. All I could say, they have a bunch of interesting things. I find it useful. I like the news. I like the signals. I like the options. They even have some charting in here. You could hook it up if you want to trade. But anyway, free trial. If you just use the link in the description on top of that, if you're going to buy anything, I am telling you, use the code July50 and you will get a 50% discount on what you choose to buy. The movement is alive and well. Know your backups. Shout out Hedgie Assist Asset Destroyer. AMC going places now. Glad to have you back. Shout out Sharma. Matt, I have $100 calls for August 20th. I want to roll them. How long do you suggest I wait to do that? 100. I mean, Paul, you could do that now, just if you're trying to not like get too beat up with data. If you think there's going to be a decent move the remainder of this week, maybe you want to roll it at the end of the week because you do have a decent amount of time. So maybe you want to give it a day or two, something like that. Sinner, what's going on? Since dark pools conceal big investors' move to not affect the market, can the hedgies cover shorts in dark pools? Yeah, so Mark, I don't know where people are getting this. Since dark pools conceal big investors' moves to not affect the market, they do affect the market. They're just trying to not show their hand. For example, if you look at AMC right now, we can see at the $40 mark, someone's trying to buy 284 shares, or it just disappeared, but right here, 284 at the 40. And this is just for the New York Stock Exchange. What a dark pool does is it just doesn't show you the depth of the bid or the depth of the ask. You don't know if there's a big buy wall. You don't know if there's a big sell wall. You're there, and it still does impact the market. There are circumstances in which trading can happen on a dark pool without impacting the price, but it's more of a rarity. The scenario in which that would happen would be when within that exact same dark pool, because remember, there's about 40. I don't think I'm frozen again. If you're seeing that it's frozen, just do a refresh of the page. Just do a quick refresh. But it looks like I'm still live. But anyway, the environment or the situation in which you could trade on a dark pool and it's not going to be impacted is when within that exact same dark pool, at the exact same time, at the exact same price, there is a natural buyer and a natural seller of the exact same size. That is the environment in which a dark pool would not impact the stock price. It just, at that point. Other than that, it's still normal trading. It's normal trading. You just don't see the bid and the ask. Like, you don't know that there's a buyer wall. You don't know that there's a seller wall, but it's still a buyer wall. It's still a seller wall. If you can't just upload and unload or offload or whatever you want to call it. You cannot create a big position or sell off a big position on a dark pool without it being noticed. It's almost mechanically impossible to pull that off because all these high frequency traders and all these market makers, they have their algorithms scanning in the dark pool to see if they can predict some sort of mass size going on that's attempted to be hidden. Once again, that is my current understanding of dark pools. I have a feeling that Mr. Lauer tomorrow will say something along those lines, but who knows? Maybe I'm getting it completely wrong. But a dark pool, this sizable position thing is how dark pools are actually supposed to be used. You're supposed to use it that way where people aren't getting freaked out by a huge buy order or a huge sell order, and then people push the market away in an opposite position. The issue with dark pools are, we know from the volume sizes, the blocks, they're not those big blocks. In fact, it's a lot of little small blocks, which is more indicative of the price action trading of high frequency traders, HFTs, and basically they're front running everyone at all times. If you're in that dark pool and they somehow realize what you're trying to do, they're very, very smart and they're very, very fast. It's like an Einstein cheetah of sorts. That's what high frequency trading is. It's a super, super smart cheetah. Like mix Einstein, mix a big cat. That's a high frequency trader. They figure out what you're doing. They do the opposite very quickly, and they sell you or buy from you what you're trying to do. And they do it in a riskless way because they know what you're trying to do. If you're trying to buy at $10, they quickly buy it at $9.99 and then sell it to you at $10. It's front running. It creates an environment where, like, actually, high frequency traders are a mix of Albert Einstein, a cheetah, and a ninja because they're doing it in the dark. It's not a cheetah, it's a leopard. It's a black leopard in the dark where you don't see what they're doing, and they do it very, very fast, and you just don't see it till after the fact. They're front running. So this concept of large institutions with big buys, big sells, I understand the reasoning of what dark pools are meant to do. The issue is what it's supposed to do in theory and what it's actually doing in practice. Yeah, it still has those big buyers and sellers. Of course, they're in there. But it has the secondary effect of being a highly competitive Albert Einstein, Cheetah, Leopard, Ninja playground where these people are front running everyone, pumping up the volume, tons of liquidity. And I'm not actually even against the liquidity. You want stocks to have more liquidity. Higher liquidity is a good thing, but they're front running people and not taking any risk in the position. If you get taken down again, you have my email and I'll do what I can about you getting a voice on other people's streams, podcasts, etc. Hey, I appreciate that. For now, just so everyone knows, we do have the backup YouTube stream pinned to the top of chat, and we also have Twitch. Twitch is Matt_Kohrs. But obviously it could go haywire from there. A lot of people are recommending Rumble to me. Personally, I have not been on Rumble. I don't have a Rumble account, but I know I will be looking into it tonight, tomorrow, the next couple days to see what the platform's all about. Check out AI Learning Stand Up for Netflix specials. You'll see why your sarcastic Tesla trades are way better standing point when it comes to machine learning. Algorithms come soon. Algorithms soon enough. Shout out Burns. So Ninja Leopards on the drug tulip farm. Not a hedge fund. You're starting to get it. You're starting to get it. But I feel at large there are a host of reasons to have issues with payment for order flows and dark pools. I don't know how to make this more clear, especially if whoever out there listening right now. Do I, Matt Kohrs, the agile Chris Hemsworth of the stock market, the best Tesla trader on this side of the Mississippi, the fashion icon of this century, do I have issues with payment for order flow and dark pools? Yes. I don't know how to make that more clear. My message on that has never changed. The issue is my issues with it are not the same qualms that other people within this community at large have with it. And with those, like the specific details, instead of the bickering back and forth of this and that and blah, 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 we're going to bring an expert on this week to answer your questions directly. To answer your questions very specifically, point blank, payment for order flow, dark pool. What are they? What's good about them? What's bad about them? How can we regulate them better? Should we get rid of them completely? What's going on? We're going to ask an expert, all of those. It's going to be more of a long form interview to get your questions asked and your answers heard. Welcome back, Moon Gang, Ape Nation, Duck Boy. Pirates? What's going on, Nicholas? What's going on, Jeff? With the strange $10 plays today, could it help them cover shorts to cover silently? I don't know how you would cover silently. Like, I don't know what that means. Covering just means you're buying stock. If you're buying a lot of stock, you're going to see a volume spike and you're going to see a spike in the bar. It doesn't matter what venue. It doesn't matter if it's an exchange. It doesn't matter if it's a market maker. It doesn't matter if it's a dark pool. Any of us. Right now, in the theoretical scenario that we pooled our money together and we market buy 1 million shares, it doesn't matter where we execute it. It could be on a lit exchange, it could be through a market maker, a non-ATS, or it could be on a dark pool, an ATS. It doesn't matter. We will see that within, I think the timing, it has to be posted within 10 seconds, and typically it's almost executed closer to instantaneously. We would see that. We would see a spike, we would see the volume, and we would see the price action reaction to our buying of 1 million shares. I get it. The name of a dark pool, it sounds nefarious. It sounds evil. I get that. But once again, I dislike it. I dislike some aspects of it. I understand some of the positives. I just take issue with some of the negatives in the way in which it's abused. So I guess with all of that, like this concept of a silent buy or silent sell, it doesn't, I guess, necessarily make the most sense to me. I just don't know how someone would actually pull that off. Oh, another one I got was who can use dark pools. it depends on your broker. If you're using something like Interactive Brokers, you can route your orders to a dark pool. Now, even people switching over to Fidelity with Active Trader Pro, with it, it's up to them. If they have the route open to a dark pool, you can trade on a dark pool. A dark pool, some dark pools are private and member only, but there's other dark pools that we can trade in. In fact, some of the current big exchanges, the lit exchanges, actually started out as a dark pool. Some of the earliest ECNs, such as ARCA, started out as a dark pool. And then like ECN is more of a generic terminology. But some of the market structure we currently have going on right now that we know of as lit exchanges and blah, 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 legitimate rounds, their starting was actually a dark pool. In my opinion, everyone should have access to everything. Institutions don't need a leg up. Yeah, I mean, so if that's one of the problems is like, okay, like we don't like that some dark pools are private member only. Well, that's fair. I could get behind that argument of like, hey, if you want to have a dark pool, let us all play in it. That's fair. Tim Pool has Rumble as a backup, and Steven Crowder uses it to stream after YouTube temp banned him. Regardless of your politics, it's a great place to keep your pocket. They do live, and they don't ban unless you break the law. Sean, I appreciate that, and honestly, a lot of people have been saying a lot of positive things of Rumble, so my knee-jerk reaction is I might as well create an account just to have a legitimate backup because it's insane. I've been banned twice. TMI was banned. It just seems like a reasonable redundancy. Citadel owns approximately 456 million shares of Google, which owns YouTube. Yeah, I mean, is there interesting things going on? Very much. I would bet that. But also any major, I guess, tech company, there's a good chance that Citadel has some sort of equity stake in. What is the DTE column mean in Benzinga? DTE is days till expiration. That's when the options contract expires. What else do we have? Is it possible to cover in dark pools? Yeah. You can buy or sell in dark pools. Buying and selling is allowed in all venues. And buying and selling doesn't function really differently in all venues. The difference is if you can see the buying walls or see the selling walls. Like, for example, over here, this level 2 is hooked up to the New York Stock Exchange. This is one of the 14 major prominent exchanges. So it's not even all lit exchanges. But at large, across the board, you buy and you sell in a similar manner on any venue. Buying is buying, selling is selling. And it's very, very borderline impossible difficult to hide a large trade. Can you hide small trades? Yeah, I mean, I explained the methodology in which certain trades can be executed without it being, I guess, experienced, seen, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But still, the volume, you would see in the volume. Volume from dark pools is still reported. I know I just read Citadel Connect doesn't report their volume, but remember, that's a bit different. That's like a dark pool. That's not really a dark pool, blah, blah, blah. I myself, I want more answers on that. I mean, I'm right there with you. But in general, like a general blanket statement is if you're trading on a dark pool, that volume is still reported. Hashtag YouTube, hashtag Matt Kohrs, hashtag not a dead cat. Rumble is pro free speech. They need a lot more non-political creators. Huge opportunity for you and other political creators. Actually, I have a question. Let me do a poll. And the question for all of you, if I switch to Rumble, if me, I'm Matt. If Matt switched to Rumble, I would follow. would not follow. Let's get some stats on this, on how much people actually know about Rumble and their willingness to follow. Ask your community. All right, I just posted a poll. Matt, SEC Chairman Gary Gensler has been tweeting today and asked for investors' interest. You should reply, and all apes can upvote you. Who is Gary Gensler? What is his legitimate? I don't know which one is him. Gary Gensler. I don't know which one is his like legitimate one. This is a good question. Is Gary Gensler really on Twitter? Is he really on Twitter? Gary Gensler. Well, I feel like someone would have tweeted or said something. I'll find it. I'll track it down. I'll figure that out by sometime tonight. Crypto pump, take profits now and re-enter later. It depends. Do you think the pump's over? The idea is to always catch a majority of the move, the most size of the moves possible. So with that being said, how big do you think the move's going to be? If it still has momentum and is picking up, like ride the train. Oh, go to the SEC's official Twitter and they tweeted it out. SEC. He's the chairman of. All right, we found him. I guess it's at Gary Gensler. Not verified. Even the SEC chairman couldn't get verified. That's a tough break. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Hey, AMC back above 40, Gmi at 183.31, IWM coming back around, SPY pushing. Gary Gensler, the ball guy. Can you comment on the stuff going around about a controlled squeeze and the NTCC rule? Yeah, in my personal opinion, I don't think that this NTCC rule has anything to do with the concept of a controlled squeeze. I don't know how necessarily people are making that correction. To my minimal understanding of the NTCC rule, it's more along the lines of they're able, well, it has something to do with current members, as in clearing brokers, to sponsor other clearing brokers so they can become a member of the NSCC. And then, excuse me, beyond that, they are allowed to use stocks that they own to basically post collateral on a loan. I don't know how people are necessarily making that as a connection to stopping a squeeze, or sorry, to controlling a squeeze. It doesn't make much sense to me. But I guess I need to look more into it. I just don't get that jump of how, like, what my understanding of it is. I don't know how that would mean. To me, it's just another rule the DTCC, the NSCC are all trying to pass to basically backstop the economy if there's like some sort of, if everything hits the fan and there's some sort of sell-off. To me, it's like, oh, okay, as a loan, you can post the shares you own as collateral. I don't know what's connection that is. They're not making these rules for an individual stock. This is for market wide. It's not they're like, oh, we saw this in AMC, we're going to make a new rule to control the squeeze. That's not necessarily how they operate it. Like I said, it's not really adding up in my mind. I see it more as like it's another rule that I support, and it just seems to be like, if everything hits the fan, how are we going to backstop the market? This is another rule that helps backstop the overall market. Catherine becoming an astronaut. Shout out, shout out. I'm curious, how many of you either last night or today or whatever are making some money off of the crypto squeeze? For me, I'm not actively trading it. I've been buying it over the past couple of years, slowly and surely, and I'm just hoping that a decade, 2 decades down the road, it makes me a lot of money. But I would love to know how many of you actually like made some money off of crypto in the last whatever 12, 24, 48 hours. Lord's Brewing Co. Matt, check your Twitter. A little surprise for you. Is it like a DM or something? How am I? Are you ready to rumble? That's how I get to start everyone. Are you ready to rumble? All right, hold on a hot sec. Let's stand up. Let's work on those 6-packs, people. I didn't run that 10K yesterday to let my 6-pack disappear overnight. If there's anything I've learned about 6-packs, is you have to work on them daily. I feel like that's oddly good advice for someone who like is clearly making fun of fitness in general. And that's an issue. I don't want to be here giving good fitness advice. Like there was some dietitian out there, they're like, wow, that sounded right. A 6-pack is something you have to work on daily. I said it before I thought about what the words actually meant. And please, I wish I could retract it. Sometimes on social media, you put something out there and you're just like, oh, why did I do that? Why did I say that? And I wish I could take it back because I'm here to give you bad fitness advice. Like, I don't want you guys thinking like, oh, I should actually like, if you want to get rid of a 6-pack, that's something you have to work on daily. Everyone in the world is so fascinated with making a 6-pack. Like, how do I do it? No. The trick here, and what I'm here to help all of you with, is how to get rid of a 6-pack. And that's something you have to work on daily. Go for that extra piece of cake. Have that extra bowl of ice cream. You know, when you wake up and you're like, I should run today, quickly stamp that thought process out of your head. Everyone's so fascinated with building a 6-pack. What about getting rid of a 6-pack? I'm here to ask the real questions. Welcome to my TED Talk, my Matt Kohrs TED Talk on how to get rid of your 6-pack. Bad fitness advice is actually harmful. Freedom of speech only applies to the government, so suppression, not private entities, platforms, Twitch, YouTube, etc. Congress shall make no law. Jeremy York. I actually agree with that. What I don't agree with is when the terms of service are applied unequally to different creators. I'm happy when I sign up for your platform to play by your rules. I just want the rules to be applied to everyone equally. Matt, so good to see you back there. I've recently become friends with a trader from Susquehanna. What a key question I should ask him to try to gather information on what they're doing with AMC. Juan, I would say compliment him. Like, people always get knocked off guard when you compliment them. So Juan, I would say, like, when you're sitting by him, whatever you're doing, just sit down and at first be like very genuinely nice. Be like, man, you are just radiating happiness today. That's a weird comment for a full-grown man to say to another full-grown man, which is even better in this particular scenario, because then you're really going to knock him off guard. Be like, you are just radiating happiness today. And now that his defenses are down, that's when you grab him by the shirt and you're like, what are you doing with AMC? So it's kind of like you're your own bad cop, good cop duo, but all in one body. And if you can keep that dramatic ebb and flow from bad cop to good cop, the longer you can sustain that, the better. I think I would honestly argue that's like a better way to get answers from them. Let me know how it goes. Please don't end up in jail. Folks, it's sarcasm. Sarcasm. In all seriousness, I don't think they're going to tell you about any of their trades. Like that's it sounds like an NDA issue. Could they run it up during after hours to lock out people who don't have access to after hours trading? Yeah, that's possible. But remember, after hours trading and pre-market trading are such low volume. There's not a snowball's chance in hell they could cover all their shares. It's just too low a volume. And remember that most retail traders still have access to pre and post market trading if you're trying to trade there. Lord's Brewing Code just DM me. All right, I'll check it out. Agreed. Just keep seeing people say Rumble allows freedom of speech. It doesn't apply to private entities. Oh, I see what you're saying, Jeremy. Of like, yeah, like whatever platform you're on, you're still following their rules, and like they might be a bit more lax. Like, they might base their rules on the US's interpretation of freedom of speech. That's possible. But even with this, like, I'm on board. A private company, hey, I'm all about people running a company however they want. Like if you want to make a video streaming service and the only thing allowed on there is cat videos and anyone else that posts a non-cat video gets banned, cool. That is your right. It's a private company. You make up your own rules. That's the beauty of creating your own company. Like you're the king of your own little domain. That's fine. What's an issue is if you have a cat video streaming service and then someone posts a dog video stream and they don't get banned, but then someone else does it and then they get banned and they're like, hey, you broke our rules. Like it's not like the rules just need to be applied equally. I'm not saying a video streaming company out there has to be fair. I'm just saying the rules have to be equal. And there's a big difference there. Love Montes becoming an astronaut. Matt, treat yourself, Kohrs. Appreciate what you do, brother. PA in the house. Money, what's going on? How do I get rid of my six-pack? Get a girlfriend and stop being single. The six-pack will vanish. What's going on, Craig? You say have multiple brokerage accounts. You should have multiple streaming accounts. Rumble, Odyssey. You're hurting the elite pocketbook. I mean, yeah, that's why, like, I mean, I have the backup YouTube one, and then I also have Twitch, but, like I said, I'll be looking into Rumble. The second one I hear about the most is Odyssey. For me on this side of it, one thing that I find interesting is it's as much as YouTube doesn't really treat its creators fairly, it's still the biggest, most dominant one. And I'm just curious, do you out there do you see a pivot in that? Like, do you think that YouTube might get dethroned as the #1 video streaming software, website, application, web app? Like, do you think what they do is that egregious that everyone's just going to have a mass exodus? Or do you think it's just going to be like, yeah, no, like some people are going to get caught up and they get screwed over, but I'm still staying on YouTube type of a deal? Like, I just don't know how much of a YouTube started the race first, and I just don't know how much of a lead they actually have on everyone else. I mean, people are saying Twitch. I mean, I've even heard that Twitch has its own issues. Oh, here we go, AMC. Perking up for the last 15 minutes of the day. Better late than never. Matic to the moon. Stonks are us. Shout out. Echo. Is it time to break out a new hat? It sure is. Hang on. Which one do we want to do? All right. So AMC looking froggy. So you guys know what that means. You know what that means. We got to get a little froggy ourselves, folks. We got to get a little froggy ourselves. WTF is Rumble. All right. Yes. I understand. Am I a 27-year-old boy man who gets too much enjoyment out of wearing frog hats on stream? I get it. But I don't know. This is what happens when you don't give a child enough attention and you just leave them to their own devices. You know? You end up just doing weird stuff on YouTube to like hopefully get a laugh and fill that void in your heart. Because when you were younger and you'd wear your cool frog hats, no one said a thing. So you carry that forward with you for decades and decades. And all the kids in school, they're like, no, you can't come to my party if you're going to wear that frog hat. Or, no, I'm not going to go to prom with you if you have that suit that's like has frog prints all over it. Everyone is just anti-frog. And there I was, a little boy in Bulgaria thinking this is my life. I just thought there was some sort of coordinated effort that I can't wear my duck apparel, my tiger apparel, my frog apparel. But then here we are. All you need is one of the most historic Wall Street events ever to occur, and you need to be in the right place at the right time streaming it, and then bam, doors open for you. You go, at one point, you're on national TV talking to Fox about business and big tech and like really, I guess, biting the hand that feeds you. And then minutes after that, there's no law. Folks, I looked into it. I can do this. You are 100% allowed to talk to national TV, talk like basically shit on big tech, and then you are more than allowed to just wear a frog hat. Literally nothing stops you. I mean, if there's a lawyer in the house, check me on that, but I'm pretty sure there's no law. Devin's Law, if you're listening right now, you could just do this. Like, there's no rule. And like, everyone's like, oh, like, do well in school, go to college, and this is Thunderdome, folks. This is Thunderdome. Now, this is what we in the business call potential. Oh, this kid has potential. This kid has potential. And you know what's super funny about this? Like, we're all here laughing because, like, you know, like, life is fun. Let's enjoy it. Life is short. Like, let's have a blast. Someone out there, right now, there's 16,308 people watching. What gets me going even more is I bet that leftover 308 are probably people that cannot stand me. And they're just sitting there like fuming right now. They're like, why are people watching this kid? Like, what is going on? He's in a frog hat. Dude, chill. Like, seriously. Like, my message to all of these keyboard warriors are like, just calm down. Take a breather. Like, let's have a good time. Man. Oh, this is just, I guess I got to button up for safety purposes. There's no law against doing what you want with your wardrobe. First Amendment. Devin's Law listening in. We got it. We have our own legal counsel here. He's like, can confirm you can wear your frog hat. Yeah, right there. Oh, God. Crystal, I think Rumble is too political. Oh, wait, is there a like a political connotation to Rumble? I was unaware. Ooh, is this better? More fashionable? Matt, really, look at yourself. I'd rather not. Big tech censorship is branching from politics towards speech they don't like. Alternatives are a must. Eventually, they're becoming big players. Folks might want the vids of kitties and doggos. Wait. So is it political? I don't want to get myself in the middle of a political fight. Like, I don't know if you guys need to like get really quick like fact checked on this. But if you're looking at me right now, it might be a good indication of why you shouldn't take like political commentary or opinions or advice from me. Like, I'm not saying I'm, at large, I don't know why younger people think they're like so expert. Like, I don't have the life experience to be like some political commentating expert. I'm 27 and I wear a frog hat in my basement and yell at nothing. I yell at a camera. I don't know if I'm the one who should be like articulating some in-depth thought about law and like where our like politics are or aren't. I mean, I could tell you about human stuff, like, hey, don't be a jerk to other people. Like that just seems like a no-brainer, but that's more of like a function of being a human, not political. But if you guys want it, like, you're already taking your relationship advice from me. You're already taking your fitness advice from me. If you want to take your politic advice from me, we could do it. but I would rather do it in like a non-US country. Like I want to find like a cool, fun country, like a cool island country where they don't really have many problems. And the big debate is like, what fruit should they grow more of? That's like the political arena where I see myself. Why can't pirates take better care of their maps? Always tea stained with burnt edges. Good question. Good question. Drew Norris, what's going on? I can't stand you, Matt. Secretly crossing fingers for good old Matt Rant. Just kidding, of course. Love the show. Here every day. Shout out Death Crew. Matt, I had to join a conference call. Just came back to the stream, and I will say I have not seen this hat before. What happened? It's just we got a new hat for when we're feeling a bit froggy, like the way AMC is. I mean, it's up 8.5%. We're starting off the week in a very, very froggy manner. Myself, I'm a visual learner. I'm not necessarily an auditory learner. And for my audience who happens to learn in the same way I do, of more of like trial by error, visual, like you want to see it, you want to do it. I think this helps really just drive home the point. They're like, okay, like I heard a lot of things from Matt today, but the fact that he wore a frog hat, like I'm subliminally messaging to you that our stocks are like looking and feeling pretty froggy. It's super political. Do your own research, but it's very heavy right wing and many creators who were banned. Oh, well, that doesn't sound fun. I would not recommend Rumble. Rudy G is on there. But on the other side, isn't that how we make it more balanced then? If we just like bring on non-political people, isn't the entire concept if like we want it to compete, like you don't want it to be an echo chamber. You want to have various opinions at all times. Isn't that like how we break echo chambers and have a healthy form of debate is when like all views are fairly shared? For example, like I'm thinking about this more through AMC. Think about how many months the only opinion that was shared was what's going on is bad for the market. It's fundamentally overvalued. No one should share it. And then all of a sudden, Trey and myself had the opportunity to speak. Life is all about balance. It's the yin and yang. I don't want anything to be an echo chamber. We want it to be heard by everyone. Like everything should be balanced. Robert, shout out. Stop with that. We don't promise people. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I guess I agree with you. People look for problems that aren't there. Folks, I'm very much looking at it through the lens of AMC and stocks. And it's one of those things that sometimes something is better than nothing. If I get completely deplatformed, like I said, I'm trying. I have a backup YouTube channel. I have a Twitch. It's just we're looking for redundancies. We're looking for fail-safe mechanisms. Woody Wooderson. Check out Twitter DMs. AMC all made you something. Oh, thank you, Devin's Law. Is it right? All right. See, this is stuff I didn't know. It's good for me to learn it. As much as I teach you guys things about like hat fashion, you guys are teaching me things. Super chat, just for being real, not being complacent with echo chambers. Echo chambers disrupt the fabric of democratic society. I mean, I know people are saying this in terms of politics, but I think you can apply it to literally any aspect in life. It doesn't just have to be political. Like right here, I feel like we've been battling echo chambers in AMC, and it's on both sides. People who are like only looking for confirmation bias, and then other people who are spreading severe amounts of FUD. Echo chambers just at large are not good. And we need to break those echo chambers. And I'm just speaking on it from what I've seen in AMC, like exclusively that. I am not a political commentator. Don't take anything I say to be or to not be politics. That's just not me. And hey, if you have an opinion, great. But for this, it's just more of AMC of like, we see those same things. And I think it's more of inherently an aspect of human psychology. If you feel more comfortable when you're hearing back your own opinions and you're like, oh, okay. Cause like it seems like we've deviated away from critical thought and people get offended if like your own opinion, like you can have differentiating opinions and still get along and be like a normal society and people not fight. It's okay. It's okay. You can have different opinions and still respect each other. That is very, very possible. Woody Wooderson. I love this name. Ba, 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 ba. Mark, thank you. Bought 31 more GME this morning. LFG, love you. Links because they will be kicked off YouTube for no reason like you were, and sick of not having free speech, but they invite everyone. Got you, Brambles. I appreciate that clarification. When you're ready to take your wardrobe stream OnlyFans to the next level, hit me up for some custom nipple tassels. Robert, shout out. Think about it. Who gets banned from YouTube? Platform is not. I see what you're saying. Decentralized streaming via Theta for the win. Anyone? All right. Still oddly political. Stock Up with Larry Jones, just because you made me cry in that shower yesterday. Stock Up with Larry Jones, shout out. Folks, he's another financial commenter. Cool channel. Check it out. Once again, it's Stock Up with Larry Jones. Larry Jones, on a personal note, I got your text. I honestly really appreciate it, but just as you can imagine, it's been crazy. I'll respond to you. I'll give you a call when I have a bit more time one of these days. But I appreciate the support. I can tell everyone right here, folks, there are many, many creators who reached out to me to offer a helping hand, and Stock Up with Larry Jones is 100% one of the guys who had Ape Nation's back. And in fact, he's a member of Ape Nation himself. So check it out. Hey, Matt, keep up the work. Are you a robot? Please help me understand how to not become bag holders when the squeeze happens. William, I think one of the best ways to combat that is to have a trading plan. What's your goal? Are you trend following? Do you have a price target? Whatever it is, I am a fan of whatever you like, create a trading plan. It sounds like you're already in the play. So ask yourself, are there certain environments in which you would buy more? And then also you have to create some sort of exit. That you have to ask yourself what you're doing. Do you have on a trailing stop? Do you have on you want it to run up and you're trying to trend follow? Or are you following the shorts? I know I tweet out the shares on loan every morning. Is that what you're using? They're all valid plans. It's just you have to have a plan and you have to stick to it. Most streamers I follow stream live to multiple platforms at the same time. You should too. I was wondering, I thought that was like an issue. I thought you weren't allowed to stream. Like, for example, I thought Twitch got angry if you streamed to multiple places at once. But am I a robot? Let me put it this way. Would a robot have such a sick hat on? Oh, you guys are wanting to do the 6969 likes. All right. If you guys want to do it, you have to do it quick. It's almost 4 p.m. If you want to try to stop it at 6969, let's do it. Oh, another thing. All right. Like I said, we're going to give away 5 of those Too Harmful, Too Dangerous shirts. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give away 3 on Twitter and 2 on Instagram. So for this, all you have to do is, I don't know, you just have to follow this Twitter, and I'm gonna give away. I'm just gonna pick 3 random people who I don't know. All you have to do is like it. If you like and follow this account, I'm going to give away 3 on this. And then on Instagram, it's Matt_Kohrs. All you have to do is follow and comment on my most recent picture, and I'll pick 2 of you. So I'm going to give out 5 free, Too Harmful, Too Dangerous shorts. I will be DMing you and just saying, hey, I'm going to give you a shirt. Give me that info. Where'd my bell go? Where'd the bell go? Casino is closed, folks. Casino is closed. Casino is closed for the day. Monday, July 26th is now in the books. AMC up 9%, 40.35. GME up 2%, 183.86. So here is the plan. I will be doing an update video tonight, so check that out. I'll be posting it to this. The Charles Payne interview will be posted to the backup channel that's pinned to the top of chat. And then tomorrow I'll be streaming 9 to 11 and then 2 to 4. And I will be doing what I can to get the interview done with Dave Lauer tomorrow, asking all those questions that we've been over. Hang on. I'll give you guys a second. You have about 100 likes to go to 6969. If you can stop it at 6969 on the first attempt, I'll double that up and we'll do 5 more free shirts and we'll just double it up. We'll double it straight up. All you have to do, we're about 100 likes away. My recommendation is go very, very slow. All right. You blew past it. You completely blew past it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. We'll give that the old college try tomorrow, but I'll be messaging some people to get out the free shirts. I'm so glad you got that hat. Looking froggy. Shout out, Jen. I appreciate it. All right. So that's the plan. Update video tonight. Normal stream schedule tomorrow, and I'm going to be trying to interweb that interview with Mr. Dave Lauer to talk about dark pools and payment for order flow. Lots of questions in the community, and I kind of wrote them all down, and we'll just see what's going on there. But overall, thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, the support recently has been stupidly phenomenal from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so very much. And remember, from me and Chair, best of luck in the markets.